Hooray, we're live. I was an idiot and set up the wrong type of hangout, but now we're here. Okay, so we are up to session 9, which means for my campaigns anyway, we're getting close-ish to the end. There's going to be maybe a couple more after this, but we are getting close. But nevertheless, let's go down the roll call before we get back into it all. Let's start with Becky, please.
Oh, hi. I'm fairly sure this character had an American accent, and her name was Helen Monroe. I'm the shopkeeper. How do you do? I seem to have gained the ability to cast some kind of spell, and I think I might have to rationalize that at some point, because it's just occurred to me that must be some kind of cultish dark black magic. Oh, my word.
And on that, that's how we move to Phil.
Hi, yes, I'm playing Carl Klinsky. I'm Helen's employee. We're currently in Africa. I think, if not all of us, 2 of us are at least wounded at the moment, and we're trying to figure out a way to get to this ancient temple or archaeological dig, I believe.
We are indeed, or rather you are. I'm just a figment of your imagination. Over to Ronnie.
Hi there. I am playing Sheriff Dominic Hollander, and I've managed to pick up some nice sort of phobias. I've managed to pick up a few bumps, bruises, scars, contusions, and some bullet holes as well, because, it's my job in life as a sheriff.
Of course. Although maybe doing all of this was not in your contract. Excuse me. So, for some luck points, does anyone want to recap last week's session? I'll give you double luck points because it's been 2 weeks.
I think I could sum it up in 3 sounds.
Preferably sort of plot points.
I remember how the last part of it at least, we teleported of a fashion the whole plane to Africa, but without the passengers, and then we hitchhiked a lift, and the person we hitchhiked with, he was telling us about The King in Yellow being a play, and I read a children's version of the play, and and of course my 2 companions went absolutely batshit insane, and I had to go and round them up. One went to the airport and found the other by a river.
Okay, anyone want to fill in the gaps?
Wasn't there something about the when we came to in the airplane? Wasn't it sort of like an older crash? It hadn't just crashed.
Yes, it felt like we'd been there for
a while.
There was a few dead bodies. The actual plane journey was fun, and unlike so much of what's been happening with regards to this incident, it was incident free. It was relaxing and chilled out, and
I thought there was a huge
my feeble and insane brain is choosing to remember that flight.
I was going to say, were you in the same game as the rest of us?
There was a huge hurricane or tornado, and we flew over
the Aurora Borealis decided to come south for the winter.
And we crashed in Africa, and then we had a firefight on a bridge. People got hit.
Oh, didn't we get one of you to hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Oh, and at the end of the session, all the doctors turned out to be cultists, and there's a gunfight going off, and we're in trouble.
Okay, all of you get 12 luck points back.
Wow.
Did I say double? And I rolled pretty high. But yeah, just little details. So it was not so much the Aurora Borealis as more the Bermuda Triangle. But basically the Brotherhood managed to create a portal in the ocean Actually, no, beg your pardon. They created it above the ocean, and you were guided by Katie into the Bermuda Triangle itself.
Yep.
And then you somehow ended up in a nature reserve in Burkina Faso, just south of the capital, Ouagadougou. And you were taken back there by a guide. He did indeed mention the King in Yellow. Also, it was Independence Day, so very, very busy, and you did manage to find like a children's book. But you also went, well, two of you went a bit batshit crazy and ran off. You did manage to find them. There was a firefight on the bridge. It was between you guys and a couple of Brotherhood cultists. Not actual Brotherhood, but just cultists. One of them was a guy that you met or was acquainted with on the plane, who tried to hold out a symbol in the...
Oh, was that professor guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
in
one
the
I wanted to
cockpit.
deck.
I have spat all over my notebook. Oopsie. Yes. So he was one of them. He originally wanted to try and force Phil to basically they would lead everyone to this temple. But instead, you went to the hospital because you sort of bluffed them a little bit, and then yes, a firefight broke out in the hospital. And we are going to jump right back in there. You are basically you're in a ward. There are still a couple of people on their beds. Those that are conscious, they're obviously quite immobile, so they're not really able to do much. One of them you think might be either in a deep sleep or perhaps even a coma. You're not sure. The hospital is laid out a little bit sort of chaotically, so in that regard, you're not quite sure. But in terms of the two of these Brotherhood cultists who are with you, they're now very much distracted by those shooting down the adjacent corridor. What are your sort of immediate reactions at this point?
Duck.
Yeah, I'm very gingerly getting myself onto the floor, given that I'm still extremely weak. Because I'm not long out of whatever surgery I've been in. So I'm still fairly timid.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to duck behind the door and shout, "We're with you guys!" Not really knowing if I'm shouting that to anyone, but
I'll crawl along under the beds as well, towards the door.
Okay, so for you, Helen, you see, well, you hear to start with several people come down the corridor. You hear maybe one or two bodies fall to the floor after some gunshots, but then you see these people come in. You don't recognize them. They are dressed in sort of doctors' overalls, but you think they probably aren't qualified doctors. They look at you and say, "Oh, you're with us? Good. Okay, take these." And they give you a couple more handguns. We've got to head the rest of them off. They're teeming all over this place. One of our priests has got an idea. He's going to be getting some reinforcements, hopefully.
How do we identify them?
Well, they're the Brotherhood. They're called to the Brotherhood. They've got the signs all over them.
Okay.
You mean you can't see them?
Oh, yeah, we can see them.
I think we missed that memo during recruitment.
Yeah, one of our numbers really wounded here. So you go on, we'll catch you up.
Can you give me a persuade roll?
Persuade. Oh dear. Which I failed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Imagine so. So the one in front points the gun at all of you and says, "Okay, who are you? Who are you really? Are you with the Brotherhood?"
of course we're not with the Brotherhood. How do you think he got shot?
Yeah, they shot him.
So if you're not us and you're not them, then who are you?
I'm the person holding both of your guns into the small of your back.
Except they're facing you, but okay.
Oh, I thought they were facing those two. Because I was by the door.
They're sort of facing you
Okay.
all in the doorway in the room. So
Okay. Well, I'm the person who's holding both of your guns.
Do you have the Bident with you, Kyle?
Yes, because we've only just come from the airport and we haven't
Mm,
stopped anywhere. So yes, I
no,
would still
no.
have it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so they do sort of flinch back a little bit when you remind them about the two guns, but then one of them says, "Hey, he's got a Bident. It looks like one of the ornaments, one of the Plutonian ornaments."
Told you we were one of you.
Yes, and we haven't shot you, so we must be one of you, not one of them.
And we're not covered in symbols.
No, maybe you're still attuning to everything. Have you not been in our organization for long?
Long enough to be shot at on that there bridge by the Brotherhood.
Fine. Well, you do good to stay with us then.
We need to care to our wounded first. We'll follow you up.
Okay, fine. And they go off themselves. They start heading back down the corridor. They sort of get into cover, and you hear more gunshots going off. You think you can hear some weird kind of incantations as well. You're not sure which side is casting. Although with the mention of the priest, you think, okay, maybe it's something to do with this group of cultists that you were just talking to.
I'm not entirely sure I want to be in either side's company right at this very moment. Mostly because I don't think I'll survive it.
And on that comment, I closed the door to the ward.
Okay. No
Can we
problem.
find a wheelchair?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll say that there. Well, let me see if there's a wheelchair or something sort of.
Well, if failing a wheelchair, we're going to have to go over the whole thing, which is standard hospital beds, even in this period, had wheels on them.
Yeah.
They're just great big bloody trolleys with mattresses.
No, that's fine. So what I'll say is, when you were wheeled in, Dominic, you happen to be in a wheelchair, so your wheelchair is still there.
Okay.
We can get them out. Those two guys, were they locals or were they foreigners
Two guys.
that came in?
Ah, good question. One of them did appear to be local. Another one appeared to be not local. Sort of slightly olive-looking skin. Maybe Spanish. You're not sure.
Okay.
I'm going to open up a window and see if we can climb out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the minute you're on the ground floor, so that's fine. You kind of open out the window and there's sort of a bit of like vegetation and shrubbery, but you're kind of right on the main road.
Okay, I'll toss the wheelchair through it then.
Do you think you can make that, Sheriff?
There's no way in God's green earth I am going to be able to call through that window. Just out of character, I'm down to 1 hit point, guys.
Yeah.
So much as a nudge, and I'm out of it again. I'm pretty beat up.
Kyle, as you're sort of standing there looking around for things, you're sort of feeling a little bit of almost like a vibration coming from the Biden. Are you wearing it like on your back or are you holding it?
Yeah, I love it. That's probably a good idea. I've got it slung with a piece of rope across my shoulders.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely feel a sort of a weird sort of pulsating coming from it, and you can almost sort of hear sounds of something. You're not really sure what.
I'll sort of take it off and hold it in front of me. This thing's vibrating. It's making strange noises.
It's quite subtle, but if you're holding it, yeah, you can
Well,
feel it.
I'll plant it on the floor and hold it.
Can you make me a sanity roll?
Oh,
It's the world's biggest tuning fork.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, which I failed.
Okay.
Find out the Biden's been tuned to middle C.
You say that, but there was that whole weird conspiracy that Nazis tuned the Western scale slightly differently from normal, and it's a load of rubbish. Anyway, you take 4 sanity points. There's definitely something going on, not directly from the Biden, but you think maybe something big like a spell has been cast or something like that, and this is sort of interfering with it, or it's giving off a little bit of it.
This thing could be picking up on something. It might not be too wise to stay here for much longer.
You definitely feel kind of shaken by this, like that there's something wrong.
Yeah.
But before you can really work out what it is, you suddenly see out of the corner of your eye the person or the patient with a coma. They actually start getting up quite sort of sluggishly, but they're definitely moving.
Helen,
I think I just worked out what the reinforcements were they were talking about. Is there another exit out of here?
Not out of this ward, no, unless you go out of the window. There is possibly, if you go out of the door, there might be another way around, say the main entrance that you could try.
Come on, Sheriff. We'll drag you through.
Yeah, I'm really going to slow these guys up, which I'm well aware of. I get my gun.
you can lie in the bed shooting, and we'll push you.
I'm at this point. I'm considering the bed offensive.
Have you got many guns on you, Kyle?
I've got one. I've got a handgun, and I've got my Bygone. We should have bought shotguns.
Well, have another handgun. We seem to have superfluous handguns, so let's put 2 on the bed. They're loaded, ready to go. I'm going to draw mine. You got yours. Sheriff's got his. When we run out of ammo, there's more on the bed. Let's push this thing out of here.
Okay, that's fine. So as you kind of get everything ready and push it out, this person does come towards you to begin with. Although, interestingly, it's only them that come at you. Again, there are a couple of other people in this room, but they don't sort of step up or anything like that and try and come towards you.
We're on your side. We aren't the Brotherhood.
Move. Patient coming through.
This person just says a few garbled words, barely even audible, and it reaches out a hand towards whoever's pushing the bed. So that would be Helen. You see these weird sort of almost rainbow streaks in their hand, kind of moving through, almost like blood going around its body, but it's all sort of weird rainbow colors.
I'm gonna get a saline. Actually, have they got the saline drip or anything like that? If they were in a coma?
Yes, they will.
Okay. So I'm gonna grab hold of their saline drip stand trolley thing, and just push them with the. So I'm gonna pick up the trolley thing, and I'm just gonna push them away with it.
Okay, that's fine. As you do that, you can make me a spot hidden roll if you like.
Ew. Oh boy. No, that's a miss.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so you push it back. It kind of sprawls over the bed. The drip comes out, starts sort of splurting all over everywhere. You can hear some sort of beeps going on, as if maybe its heart rate is kind of going a bit haywire. You're not sure.
Okay, so it's. I'm sorry, because you dropped for a little bit on me there. Did you say it was sprawled over the bed?
Yeah, so you push it back. It sprawls all over the bed. The drip comes out and splurts everywhere. There's a bit of noise. You think maybe a beeping sound. It could potentially be heart rate, something like that.
Okay, I try to step over them. So I sort of, as we push the bed forward, I kind of step onto them and sort of push the bed beyond.
Yeah, that's fine.
Get going.
Fucking speed bumps.
That's absolutely fine. They try and reach out for your leg, Dominic, because with being on the bed, it does miss you, but it rips sort of the sheets that are on there and lies limp. You can also see this weird sort of rainbow colors in its hand.
Can I try striking their arm with the Bygone? Not stab, just more of a...
Yeah, if you want. Feel free to make me
I want to shoot you the arm.
Brawl. Hey, that's a hit.
Okay, fantastic.
Oh, that's hard as well.
So you kind of hit like the side of the body, I would imagine, with it, and you immediately feel this huge electric shock go through you, so much that it actually throws you back. You take 3 hit points. You feel your back hit the wall, and you actually see a bit of smoke like coming off him and you.
Yeah, but I'm going to do the shooty thing.
I'm sort of just struggling to get up now.
Yeah.
God, what was that?
I'm going to shoot him.
Okay.
Shoot at the.
Yep, that's fine.
You know, attack me in my bed. Damn your eyes! I'm not having that. Yeah, I'll hit him next round.
I'll say that
clearly, my aim is slightly off.
Yeah.
Careful, Sheriff. You might hurt someone.
In any case, he's not moving very quickly. You've got a clear line for the door now.
Get Kyle, and let's get out of here.
Oh, yeah. I'll try and keep up if you want to go.
No, I have to go. We'll go with you.
Well, I'm in the same situation as you are now.
Yeah. Sorry, Helen, you're the only able-bodied person in this group at this moment in time.
Can you push us
It's
both?
a lot of pressure.
You know, the amount of hit points you're on is basically what I have anyway, right? Okay. No, I've not too bad. I am wounded though. So yeah, I'll I push the trolley, presumably with 2 people on.
Abreast. Yeah, so you head out into the corridor. All the kerfuffle was coming from the right side. You're not quite sure what's to the left. It kind of goes around another corner like that. You don't remember coming in that way either, so it may be like a corridor to another ward or a different department.
So
just out of interest, sorry.
No, carry on.
Becca. Just out of interest, Jason, how wide is this corridor with regards to the bed?
It's a bit of a squeeze.
Good.
Basically, the beds can fit down it, but there are also, like, every so often there are beds at the side. You think maybe for waiting patients. Yeah. So at times, it is a squeeze to get down.
Good. Right, Kyle, as much as we can, get one arm out your side, one arm, I'll have one arm out my side, and we're going to pull along while she's pushing.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so there was noise to the right. We don't know what's left. Which way was the exit, and is anything straight on?
In terms of where you came in, you know that the exit is to the right.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if there's another way out to the left. All I'm saying is you're not familiar with that.
And there's nothing straight on?
No, it's just, a T-junction.
Right. Okay, so we'll go left, away from the noise.
All right, yeah. So you head round. It goes round a corner to the right. There's some steps leading down. There's something in French, like a little sign. Unless you know French.
Probably.
No, I'm civilized.
But anyway, it's going to be the more, isn't it?
And if you go down further, there are a couple of other branches off to, you think, other departments on this floor. You can see some kind of fire exit right down the end.
That'll do. I'm going to pick up speed then and push it as fast as it'll go.
Okay, that's fine. So you head down. The fire exit, basically, there's like, as you go down the corridor, you're actually going up slightly, so it's a slight slope. So when you get to the fire exit, you can see there's a bit of a stairwell, as it were. So you kind of open the door, and there's like a dark stairwell and also a way up as well. You can hear noises from further down, which is unnerving. Similarly to what you heard, Kyle, with that person in the coma earlier, but even worse.
Oh, this don't go down there. That could be where it's all emanating from.
It would appear our situation has not improved.
We're coming the wrong way. That's what I heard from the Bygone.
Well, there must be a fire exit on the outside of the building if we get up to the roof.
You did notice a lift shaft a bit further back up.
Or even just, some metal steps on the outside of the building or something. So we could go up and find another way to go down.
Okay. Hopefully this shaft is going to be big enough to take this bed. Otherwise, we're going to have
It's stairs, hon.
Stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, bugger. No, I mean going up to the roof, and I'm aware it's going to be.
I mean, there is a lift, but you don't know if a whole bed could fit into it.
Okay, yeah, we got to head for the lift. We've
try it.
done it. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be one of those hospital lifts that the whole bed fits in.
Hopefully.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll press the lift button, but we got to have our guns pointed at that lift door the moment it opens.
I'll push the button with the Bygone from the bed.
Okay, so you press it and it's on a different floor, and worryingly, it was on the floor below.
That was a bad idea.
No.
As you hear it go bing, there are 3 of what you think could possibly be corpses, but they've got these much stronger than the one with the coma, but these sort of rainbow type, almost like veins or something like that. They look very, very wide-eyed, and they just launch at you.
Bang, bang, bang.
Yep. Do your bang bang rolls.
Bang rolls.
Bang bang
Excellent.
rolls.
Bang bang.
Extreme success.
Lovely.
I think that's,
Just missed a hard success.
What's the
that's
rate
also
of your gun?
that's also an extreme from me.
Lovely. What are the
yeah.
rate of your guns?
I just use it as rate 1 because otherwise it gets missy.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Roll your damage.
3. Extreme success.
7.
Lovely number.
7 from me.
Lovely.
I'm using my revolver, not my Glock. I should have had my Glock out, but
Yeah, that's fine. So what I'll say is that you blast 2 of them, and one of them you think maybe not quite dead, but it slumps down. It's immobile, so it can't really move.
Okay, we'll pin them up against the side of the lift with the bed then.
Yeah.
You get in. You can definitely hear more sounds coming up from the fire exit. And you also notice on the lift keypad that someone or something is calling it down.
Push it up.
Yep. So you quickly do it, close the doors, and after a couple of painful seconds of waiting, it then starts rising. So am I right that you intend to go to the roof, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. There is a roof, so it's only got a few floors, this building, so you get up to the roof. There's a small amount of stairs that you have to climb to get actually onto the roof itself.
Okay, you'll have to get off the bed for that, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Struggle up the stairs. But we'll send the lift down as well. We won't keep it up here with those 3 in.
Send it to a floor in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, I'll just reach around and push up 2
Okay.
or 3.
Actually, push them all.
Actually, I have a better idea. Press the emergency call button on it. That should stop the lift wherever it is.
Yeah, we don't want to. We want it not to be here, but if we press them all, it will take a long time to do anything, therefore a long time to get back. We don't want these corpses here in case they get back up again.
They're going to get back up anyway. They're going to get back up. I know they're gonna get back up. I want to blow their fucking heads off.
And
press
as you say
F4.
that, you hear a slamming, like metal slamming on the other side of the lift.
Yeah, press every
obviously-
button on the
yeah,
left
yeah.
and leave.
Yeah, it's closed by this point, but
Mm.
as it's closed and starting to go down, you can hear boom, boom, boom.
Quick, up the steps.
Yeah. Okay. So, you get out onto the roof. It is baking hot. It's still about mid-afternoon. So let's say about 3 o'clock. See a clock. On the roof. But you do see there is another fire escape, quite rusty looking, maybe not used normally. But there is a fire escape on the exterior of the building.
If we have a quick scan around, can we jam the door onto the roof?
Yeah, sure. There's not much up here, but I'll say that this is a couple of like construction tools, like a spade or something like that.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Jam it onto the handle, then perhaps if you can wedge it.
Yep.
All right, and then head for that fire escape. Wow,
Okay.
it's very rusty. That's surprising given the low humidity.
Well, yeah, but we are in sort of equatorial climate, so
Yeah.
Right.
rain and stuff.
Oh, wonderful.
Maybe a bit further south, but yeah.
I,
Anyway, yeah. So
I can see it now. Local sheriff dies after falling off of rusted stairway in foreign climes.
I don't think anyone would be writing about your death. Let's go.
okay, so
Your
it's
bedside
painful.
manner continues to impress.
It's painful, but you do head down slowly down the side of the building. When you get there, you are just sort of round the corner from the main entrance, and you can hear there's still more gunshots going off. You can see that there is a group of people. You think they're Mygo cultists rather than the Brotherhood cultists, because of what they're talking about. But they're trying to sort of do a getaway in the car. Another car of theirs pulls up as well, and then you notice one of them spots you and says, "Quick, get in, get in! If you want to live, get in."
Oh, fuck. Fuckity, fuckity, fuck.
Oh,
I'm also available for children's parties after that last song.
What, fuckity fuckity fuck?
Fuckity, fuckity. Perfect children's party. You know.
How many of them are there?
There's 4 in one car, and they're sort of shutting the doors now. There's another one where there's just 2 people in there.
We'll hold them up for you so you can get away. We'll delay them.
You're mad. There's loads of them. Look, those 2 are dying. We're not going to wait for you, but you've got one more chance.
No, just go. I'll hold them back. These 2 are done for anyway.
Shame, because, we were going to see a very important play tonight. We thought you'd be interested.
Shit.
oh, play.
We know it's on now. That's all we needed to know. Whereabouts?
Throw us the tickets.
Kadogu, if you're going to make your own way there, fine. But don't stay here. And then they shut the door. Off they go.
Oh, balls.
Taxi.
Okay. I will... Well, actually, no. You make a luck roll for me.
Luck roll.
Because it's quite busy, but the traffic's thinned out a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll say that there was a taxi cab that was free going along. He pulls up. He says, "Oh my God, you're looking a bit worse for wear. There's a hospital just opposite.
It's not going very well in the hospital.
Yeah, it's just there's been a slight medical malfunction, but we're all fine now. We're
Oh, okay,
fine
fine.
now.
Where do you
How are you?
want to go? Oh, and then
Good.
he suddenly flinches as he hears this noise. And someone's obviously firing at the
Yes,
taxi.
please drive. You might get a tip.
Yep. Okay, I'll just drive off. You tell me where.
Kodogu.
Oh, that's a way. That's going to cost you double. That's
Doesn't
50
matter.
miles, you know, man.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter.
We're not in a
We're
position to
American.
argue.
We're American. We can afford it.
We're not in a position to argue at this point.
Do you not want to stop first for those two? They're looking really badly wounded.
Well, you-
Yes,
Do you need some medicine?
probably. But as you say, it's a hospital. They'll take care of them. Let's go, please.
Talk about us.
No, I meant you.
Yeah.
Do you want to stop somewhere?
No, we're going to we're going to
Stop at
Kodogu.
Kodogu.
We're going to Kodogu. We're going there. You know,
All the
we'll be
ruins of
fine.
Penny, whichever is closer.
We'll be fine.
We've got an itinerary to keep.
I'm afraid I don't quite know where that is. I'm taking you to Kodogu.
Is that
Although
in this?
having said that, my fuel is quite low, so I will have to stop at some point, but I'll get out of the capital first.
Okay, so head of
well,
the capital.
And if you don't mind, everyone, I'm just going to pass
If
out.
you do see a chemist, you could pull over.
Yes. So what I'll say is that we fast forward a little bit. So
Okay.
For those of you who are still conscious or not sleeping, you've been driving for about 20 minutes. You're going past a couple of small villages now, and the taxi driver's pulled in to some gas station. You can see him come out. He's got some sort of bandages and sort of basic first aid that he's going to sort of give you.
Here, let me do that.
Sure.
I'll tend to them both.
And then he gets a hose and starts filling up his cab.
All right. Shall I make first aid rolls on them both?
Sure, yeah.
Oops. Is 99 a critical fail?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. You froze.
Is 99 a critical fail?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did one of those and a fail. Odd it was Phil, even it was Ronnie. Oh, sorry, Ronnie. I do
Right.
actually have quite good first aid. It's just not.
Just a note
What do we
that
say to the god of death?
I can't remember exactly how bad it's about to go from the old rules, but if 7th edition is anything like sort of 3rd and 4th edition, my nap could be permanent.
It could be.
I've got 1 hit point, Jason. I
know.
I'm teetering on the edge of.
I know.
Anyway,
I know.
I'm sorry.
How deep is this bullet wound?
I am resigned at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, you're more than that. What I'll say is that you, Dominic, you are hallucinating heavily. You see this sort of strange creature try and get a hold of you, which you sort of slap them back.
Get ye hence! The divorce wasn't enough.
There's all this sweat coming down, really cold sweat.
Treat him when he's reacting like this.
Eventually, he goes completely unconscious. But the rest of you can see these sort of rainbow streaks on his face, on his hands, and actually, now that you think about it, you see it a little bit on each of you as well.
What does this mean?
We are all rainbows.
When the cab driver comes back, he says, "Right, that's it. I'm taking him to a hospital."
Not back to that one. Different.
No,
hospital.
a different one. I'm not spending all day driving back and forth. So what he does is when you reach Kodogu, he goes to the hospital first, and coops Dominic up in there.
Okay. I give them some money, plenty of.
Yep.
Yeah, and hopefully the doctors have more luck than I do.
Mm.
Maybe I'll spend the time waiting for him to heal, writing his mock obituary just in case it's needed.
Okay. Yeah, so it's limiting in terms of what facilities they've got here. It's Burkina Faso in the 80s for starters, but also it's not the capital, so it is limited. But the doctors are skillful. They give you some kind of strange concoction. You're not quite sure what it is. You might even think it might just be something sugary, just to keep your adrenaline up. It helps a little bit, but you do need to stay at least for a night to sort of sort out the wounds, etc., before you can be mobile again.
I'd love to argue with you, but I just can't. I just let the sort of exhaustion of it all. I just allow it to take me, and just just go into sleep.
Is that both of us staying overnight then?
Well, you didn't get a critical failure, so it's not as bad. However, you also think maybe you should, because you are also quite badly. Well, actually, all three of you are, to be fair.
I'm wounded, but I've got a play to go see. So I can try and find where it's on.
Okay, so with Dominic, with Kyle, the doctors say, "Oh well, maybe you should stay the night as well. We can give you some medicine." But you are, you're more able to act and make decisions than Dominic, so I'll leave that up to you.
I think perhaps Helen might need help at the theatre. If I can struggle along, I think perhaps I will.
Darren, if you put two PCs there, the GM might put a baddie in.
We used to ride it like a cane, like a crutch.
Right, you do realize, of course, this is Cthulhu. The opposite could also be true. That
because you're left alone.
if you go alone, that's when the baddie comes in. Because you're all on your own.
There's only three of us. Someone's going to be alone.
Well, it may as well be the guy at the hospital with lots of people around him that you can use as meat shields if absolutely necessary.
Okay then. So Helen, you start sort of heading around, seeing if you can find out about this play. It is on tonight, in a matter of an hour or so, because at this point it's starting to get dark, sun's starting to set. It's in a little tiny theatre, which is, again, some name in French. A really tiny place. In fact,
is it in English?
What, the play?
Yeah.
You're not sure. You'd have to inquire.
I will inquire.
Okay. So they say to you, "Oh, no. The play is in French, and it's more authentic if it's performed that way. But we can give you a rough translation."
Oh yes, please.
Handy.
So so they give you these sort of programs which are almost like surtitles. So they're not exact translations, but they fit better in English, if that makes sense. So like you get at an opera.
Before I go, I want to load up on painkillers as well.
Also, I'll ask at the theatre, don't suppose you happen to know where the ruins of Luripenny are, do
you? Not really. I know that they're south of here, but they've not really been visited in a while.
It's on my itinerary, and I looked at places before I came here that I wanted to come visit, and your lovely town here was one of them. Wanted to see Kadogu, and I'd very much like to see the ruins of Luripenny.
Well, we know that it's south of here. It's near the border. But in terms of exactly where it is, no. And they sort of look at each other.
Would you know somebody who could be a guide?
Yes, potentially. There are some patrons of the theatre coming tonight, and they're well travelled.
If you could give me an introduction, I'd be very grateful.
Yes, of course, madam, of course.
Why, thank you so much. And I'll give him a little tip. $1.
Okay, lovely. So are you two going to do anything else before the play begins or before you meet these people?
Just get as much rest as I can.
Yeah, that's fair. It's starting to get cooler now, so it's a bit of a more habitable temperature. You load upon painkillers, which what I'll say for that, although I know I was just talking about friggin' painkillers, how silly they are, but I'll say they give you 2 hit points back.
Ooh, okay, thank you.
And you sort of you wait for these people to arrive, and they do. And the patrons are introduced to you by the members of staff, and you realise quite quickly that they are more of these Mygo cultists.
Thought they would be.
But they don't appear to be armed. If they are, they keep them well concealed. They're well dressed for the evening. Again, kind of like before, there are some that look local, others do not.
Told you I'd catch up with you guys. One of us didn't make it.
I'm not surprised, the fact that you didn't take our offer.
Needed to buy you time. You have no idea what was on your tail or just how many of them there were.
Well, if needs be, for the 2 of you, if you need any first aid assistance, we can give that to you.
Oh,
That's very kind of you.
I think he could use a hand. I just need a good night's sleep, but I thought I'd check this play out first.
Yes, about that. Just be careful. Don't get too into it.
Oh. Well, I'm not sure that's likely. I don't actually speak French.
Oh, well, that's okay. Then you should be fine. But then why are you seeing the play in the first place if you don't understand it?
I've got notes.
We were told it was very important.
Right. Maybe both of you could do with a pick-me-up anyway. Let me get you some drinks.
Yeah, I'll have a scotch.
Do you ask for anything specific, Helen?
Soda water will do me, please. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Okay, so they give you these drinks, whiskey with ice and a soda water. Yeah, you definitely feel a bit more invigorated by it.
It's a bit more human now. No, we had that damn heat as well.
And then you hear somebody on the tannoy say that it's going to start in 5 minutes.
Oh, well, we'd best get to our seats.
Are we sitting with these guys?
It's entirely up to you. They don't really seem to care because they know that you're going to be in the same vicinity as them.
Yeah, we're masquerading as in their cult, so.
Perhaps we should sit, if we do, sit behind them.
Hmm.
Still close to them, but...
Okay, then. That's fine. So you sit behind them, fairly sort of in the middle of the stalls, and the play begins. The first half of the play, it's in 2 acts. It's fairly sort of mundane. Not that much happens, although you do hear the name Carcosa mentioned a few times, and in French and English it's the same. But you're also following your notes, Helen, quite carefully. There's a particular woman who sings about Carcosa, and you think of some kind of poem or song, and she's dressed in this sort of long ball gown with sort of slight yellow tinge to it, long hair. And eventually, after a little bit more of kind of paying attention, you notice that she's called Casilda. You follow the notes, and it says about this song in Carcosa: along the shore, the cloud waves break, the twin suns sink beneath the lake, the shadows lengthen in Carcosa. And it's sort of quite mystical and all that. But apart from that, yeah, there's not really that much that happens. There is a scene, though, towards the end where a dark stranger comes to her and presumably her sister, you think? And they try and insist that he removes his mask, but then the twist is he has no mask, and they are all horrified, and the curtain comes down. There's a little intermission, and there's ice cream that's sold.
All right, I'm going to talk to these cultists during the intermission.
Yep.
I'm just trying to understand the role of this woman, Casilda.
Yes, she is one of the main characters. It depends from version to version, but according to some, she is supposed to be related to the King in Yellow himself, possibly his daughter or another close relative. Others say that she is a metaphor for one of his personalities, or perhaps she is somebody who isn't related but became a follower.
So I missed some of that because you froze for a moment. So that.
So there are different versions of the play. In this case, they're doing it more literally. So she is supposed to be the daughter of the King in Yellow himself. And in other versions, she is simply someone who chooses to follow him, or is a metaphor for his personalities.
The dark stranger at the end, was that the King in Yellow? I mean, I didn't get the mask thing.
No, that was somebody else, somebody whom the King in Yellow hated. He was a member of another species, if you will. It doesn't quite work that way in Carcosa with species, because they all can manifest in a similar way. But he is one of the Alar from a city of the same name, which Carcosa eventually overturned. He was in the possession of a mask, quite a pointy mask, sort of looks like this, and he sort of shapes how it looks. You realize it sounds like quite a similar description to the one that Dominic picked up.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And the Alar, the King in Yellow and the Alar hate each other, right? But where do we stand on that?
Well, I don't know. In terms of how we feel, we are, of course, against the Brotherhood and the King in Yellow himself. The Alar, they were at war with Carcosa. There was a lot of back and forth. But eventually, yes, Carcosa took them over and kind of spilt into their city and rebuilt it in one of its disgusting manifestations.
So although the Alar are an enemy of the King in Yellow, they're not necessarily our friend, is that right?
I have never met any. They were all wiped out.
I see.
Well, I just said Carcosa completely overturned their city.
But if one had escaped in some way and manifested here on Earth...
Well, that's a very interesting speculation, but I would be interested in speaking with him.
Mm. All right, well, that was interesting. You say there's another act to this? Gosh, okay. I'll sit back down and watch that.
If you are sure. Supposedly, this act can turn the weak-willed mad. That is why the audience is so sparse. And you did notice that there were hardly anybody there.
Carl, if you need to go home and to a hotel and rest up, I understand.
I'm going to try and stay to the end. It's confusing being in French, but
Could you put the safety of your gun on, please?
Just one?
Both of them. I'll do the same.
Okay. So just before the act starts, so as the lights start going down, you suddenly hear from in front of you all the group of Mygo start chanting something. It doesn't sound particularly threatening, but with it being in their language, it obviously sounds very ominous.
Hmm. Ooh.
Does it sound like the building up to something, or is it constant rhythm? Or
It's constant rhythm. It's repeating the same thing over and over again.
Don't recognize it from that time we met the Mygo, do we?
No, it's different. It's got a slightly different tone to it. Then
Okay.
a few more times after it's repeated, and as the curtain opens, you notice that they all take out a small vial and they knock it back.
Okay. Is this theatre by chance made of wood?
It is.
Good to have a backup plan.
Okay.
I'll light a
Okay.
cigarette.
Can the both of you please make sanity rolls?
Apparently not. I failed.
so did I.
Okay. So you start watching a bit of the play, but you just can't understand it, so you can't help but refer to the notes. And as you read them, you start feeling more and more like everything is being revealed in these notes. There are truths in here which blow your mind. About the whole link between Carcosa and the Earth, about how these creatures manifest, and all this history that happened before the Earth and before humanity. And eventually you start feeling incredibly panicked, very sort of insignificant, like your whole lives have been a waste. And because they're just sort of something so tiny in the grand scheme of things, you get sort of sweats, you start panicking. You notice as well that the sort of the slight rainbow tinges I mentioned are also illuminating more, although in the dark this is quite visible to everybody else. And you notice just for a moment the players on the stage actually stop, just for a brief second, and in that 1 second where you're already getting quite sort of delirious, you suddenly both feel cold liquid go down your throat, and then you black out. And I think we should take a break there.
Wow. Should have stayed at the hospital.
Okay, back in a moment, guys.
Oopsie. Ooh. Oh, I left my
getting tense in here, isn't it? Hi, Steve. Know you're watching. Also, I don't know if you're going to be watching now, Fiona, or later on repeat, but hi. It's pretty intense. My character's not looking good for this. Really not. But fingers crossed I can make it to the end of the session. Here's hoping.
Okay.
As my friend Steve says on I've just checked the YouTube chat.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Steve says, I might be in the safest place right now. I'm in a hospital dying.
Yeah, basically.
Yes. Doesn't seem very safe at the theatre.
It's the drama of it all.
Not Le Playhouse de Malt. That would be too obvious. Just clear a couple of tabs. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yes.
Cool. Well, we resume after some time, once again, has passed. So the two of you wake up. You can feel a slight aftertaste of this cold liquid. It tastes almost a bit like beer. There's like a bit of a rye taste in there. But when you come round, you notice that you're actually back in that hospital, and Dominic is next to you. You have come round actually, Dominic, for you, because you've got a much better judge of how much time has passed. It's been sort of through the night, and now it's sort of late morning, about 10 o'clock. So you feel at least a bit better. You've had some breakfast. And you have, yes, indeed, I was just about to roll that. And for the other two of you, both of you have lost 6 sanity in the process. However, I'll say because of what you were given in form of this cold liquid, you feel stable now. Whether you were when you were unconscious or not, though, is a different matter.
That's a heck of a drop. Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. One does not simply watch The King in Yellow all the way through. But also you have the various MyGo patrons from yesterday evening here as well, who are kind of your visitors, if you will.
Did they bring grapes?
If you want. If you want. Although it's probably not grapes, more like oranges or satsumas or something. You were very lucky, the both of you. We did warn you. And we have precautions should we ever need to glean information from that play. But
What did you glean this time?
well, potentially some more details about Carcosa itself, how to get in through the gate. Maybe we can head through and attack it directly from there rather than wait for them to come to us. That will, of course, involve a very large trip, however, which we need to plan and be well rested for. But yes, as for you, well, we were a little bit concerned by your ailments. We've
Yeah.
tried to keep the doctors away from you for now.
Picked it up at the hospital.
Well, yes, I'm not surprised. It was a spell. I just didn't think that you would be affected, but obviously you were, which makes me wonder. You're not ghosts, are you? You've not been reanimated, have you?
We're just
Not that I remember.
Americans.
There's not another version of you anywhere, is there?
There might be.
Well, that will explain it. That stuff going through you. Probably best if we don't tell you what that is, because it will only make things sound worse than it actually is. But
No, I'll hear
listen. At this point, I'm sort of half pointing a weapon. Listen, I woke up after having the most horrendous nightmare, looking like I've just overdosed on a pack of opal fruits. Now, I want to know why I'm peeing red, white, and blue, and don't tell me it's my insane amount of patriotism.
you wouldn't have been peeing red, white, and blue. This is now a character thing. But you would have at least seen it here. If you had any open wounds, you might have seen it leak out. But certainly in terms of your urinary system, no. He holds up a finger to you and then just says a little sentence in his language. And you suddenly all feel a little bit better. You regain 3 HP.
Yay!
What did you do there? That was quite strange.
Oh, that was refreshing.
Indeed. As I said, it will probably just make things worse if you know exactly what it is, but it's a spell that we normally use on the dead to reanimate it, rejuvenate it on a temporary basis in order to aid us. Now, in your case, obviously you still have your free will, so we're not going to be taking over your minds or anything like that. In
Well,
fact,
that's awfully decent of you.
we've never seen anything like this before happen to people who seemingly appear alive. So we don't know the whole process, but if you repeat that phrase, if you need a little bit of rejuvenation, that might help at least. I don't know if it will keep on working.
Well, that's awfully kind of you, but the people who are most researched in exactly our case is ourselves. And it would help a lot to know exactly what this is inside of us and how long this spell normally lasts.
Well, normally the spell lasts about 24 hours, but again, that is only on people who are dead, or people who are at least extremely close to death. Whereas I can see all of you are not. As for what it is, if you really want to know exactly what it is, you aren't going to like it. Our spells are not exactly very conventional. They are, derived from the Mygo themselves.
Perhaps it's better not to know, Helen.
I think I want to know.
I'm a police officer. It is my job to know things. and to find things out.
Okay. But have you got a little pan or a bucket next to you? You might need it. So they explain what it is. Basically, and none of you will know this because you're not sort of major experts in sort of aquamarine sort of fish or anything like that. But basically, they describe that there are little tiny fish, essentially, swimming around your bloodstream. They are technically known as amphipods, a specific type called jewel beetles. They do happen to exist on Earth at a microscopic size. However, in this case, their scale is bigger, so they would be sort of, very, very small, but not microscopic. And they have these beautiful sort of rainbow colors on their backs, hence the term jewel beetles. They normally live at the very bottom of oceans, so in very dark places.
Right. Are these things harmful? What are they doing to us?
Well, they are swimming around, they are growing in size.
I see. And what do they eat when they grow?
I don't know.
They'll eat small elements of plasma.
So,
They're perfectly fine. They're perfectly fine in terms of that. They're not going to get hungry and start eating through your flesh or anything.
that's good to know.
Does this hospital have a blood bank?
Good question. It is a small hospital.
It'd have some stock of blood, I would imagine.
Yes, it does have a small stock.
Good. I'd like a transfusion.
Something tells me they're not going to have that much.
Well, we did tell you it was probably best for you not to know.
These things are growing, you said, which means they're going to get bigger. Now, normally, after 24 hours, they'll fade away. In our case, that may not happen, so I'd like to get them out before they grow so big they clog my bloodstream.
That doesn't sound good, I must admit.
No.
Well, it is up to you. I am aware how many pints of blood there are in a human body. So you go to the blood unit. As I said, there is a small amount available. There's a total of 4 pints that they can spare you at this time.
Damn.
That's not enough.
Get rid of some of them. Unless they all see it coming and they all swim to one area and just stay there while the blood goes through.
Gonna do it.
Is there any way? Is there any way we can get these things out of us at all?
Well, as we said, we've never seen this happen to living people before, and we have respect for our dead. We would not make a spell where something would grow inside and clog things up like that. That would just not be right. So,
Do you have a counter ritual?
oh, well, not a counter, but we do have a way of possibly speeding up how long it lasts. So let's say it does carry on longer than the normal conventional 24 hours. We can speed it up so it's only slightly longer.
Well, that sounds to me like they'll eat more blood.
No, it doesn't involve that. It just simply it weakens the amphipods a little bit so they don't feel much of a need to eat anymore, and then they just slowly fizzle out.
That sounds like it's worth doing.
Okay, but we would need the right ingredients to do that.
What do you need?
It will take a bit of time. If we get in touch with some more contacts back in the capital, we can get something sorted out.
Okay. How about you get all the ingredients you need and take them to the hospital in town, in the capital. It'll be
You want to go back there?
Not yet, but when you got the ingredients, get it back to the hospital in the capital. We'll put it under a name, Turner, and we'll or a phone call. I'm thinking in case we get separated because we have our own little journey to make.
And when are you wanting to do this journey?
Straight away.
It's going to be soon.
Well, as long as it's a small journey and you know it's not going to last any longer than 24 hours.
Why's that?
Well, because, as you said, if you're worried that this spell lasts longer in you, then...
I'm just making precautions in case it lasts a long time.
Okay, fine. We'll put it under the name of Turner. Back in the capital.
With all the instructions of what to do, and we'll take it from there. So, thank you very much for your help and assistance.
We will see you back in Ouagadougou.
Have a nice day.
And you, and they give you a sort of a Mygo greeting.
I'll try to mimic it.
It's not that. It's some sort of not doing that. But anyway, yes. So you're left in the hospital. You do have a bit of time.
My word, those are creepy motherfuckers.
Well, they seem to be trying to help us, though.
Everyone thinks we're on their side.
I am on the side of I want to go home.
Maybe wonder if somebody's side.
Now, there are the ruins of Luripeni are south of here near the border, but I haven't got an exact location, and I can't remember exactly why we wanted to go there. It was from my notes in the King in Yellow play.
Do you need the GM to remind you?
Yes.
So, the man whom Ronnie saw in the mask, you believe that he is in this place.
Oh, yeah, back in the school.
Right. So, I haven't managed to find a guide that will get us to the ruins, but maybe if we get a bit closer to it, we know its general area, maybe we can find a village there where somebody's more familiar because it's local to them.
Makes sense. You could probably do having a 4x4 or something.
Well, we're American. We sold that by buying one.
That is true.
Haven't seen a car in this entire country worth more than $30 so far.
There are also, if you want to go by train, there are a couple of train lines, at least a bit further west.
How far south is the border?
It depends. Basically, if you go straight down south, it's gonna be a few hours. But essentially, if you go further west and then down, the border kind of does that. So you would have to go further down.
Okay, it's going to be there, isn't it? You just know it's going to be there.
I'm just thinking, once we get off the train, we're going to need transport. If it's too rural, we're never going to find anything.
So let's get a car here while we're in a bigger settlement. And plenty of spare water and spare fuel. And jerry cans.
Guns.
Lots of guns.
Why do we need more guns than we have? We already got as many as we can carry. Got our own guns, the 2 guns we took from somebody.
Need
I don't know what side they were on.
need bigger guns.
Bigger guns, yeah. Those shotguns were good, especially up against that polar bear.
Let's go shopping. Let's
Okay.
shop like Americans.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's quite easy to get guns here. There's not like loads of shops, but there are a couple, and out here it's pretty easy to be sold a gun. Not many checks, just a couple of questions really as to what's it for.
Fishing.
It's a God-given right as
Yes,
Americans to go.
in a landlocked country, lots of fishing.
That's why we're using guns and not fishing rods. Speaking of needing fishing equipment, do you sell any sticks of dynamite?
Oh, and the shopkeeper sort of looks behind into the back and says, no. Maybe further south, sell?
Okay. Grenades?
No.
Claymores?
Claymores? What are claymores?
Small personal landmine.
Oh, mine. No. No mines.
Come on, Sheriff, you're not at Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what the ruins of Lyra Penny are?
They're a penny.
Heard there's good fishing up there.
South of here. Near to Dida Forest on the border. About 6 hours drive from here.
Okay. Did one of us get a travel map by chance?
Well, we can buy a map. We're shopping.
Do you have a map?
Yes?
Can we buy it, and can you point it out on the map for us, please?
Yeah. So he pointed out. I'm just getting it back up. So what I'll do, I'll just do a screen share actually. I'll do this again. Okay. So it is here. In terms of where you are now, Kadogu is here.
Oh, it's quite a way.
It's somewhat. I'm not really sure of the scale of the map.
That's quite big.
Well, I've worked it out approximately when I was prepping, so it would be about 6 hours, possibly a bit more.
What? Do you have any idea what sort of ruins these are then? At this place.
Very, very old. A fortress of some kind, maybe 1,000 years old.
All right, well, I believe we now need to buy a car.
Yes.
Car, yes. Go fishing in a car.
Something with a big engine.
Well, just see if we can find a 4x4.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to have to be off-road for that sort of terrain.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, you do find a used car place. what I'll say is that with sort of the rest of your funds that you've got, you do manage to afford sort of a second-hand 4x4, but they do want to just make sure it's all ready. So they want to get that done today, and then it'll be ready for pickup the day after.
Huh. Well, that's a disappointment.
Well, is there any more bits and pieces we've got to get before you're ready to go?
Jerry cans for water and fuel.
Yeah.
Food.
Do they have like funnily enough, a general store?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have a small place.
Yeah, that's. We
Well,
should be able
actually,
to hit.
I beg your pardon. No, they've got like a general store, but they've also got Le Grand Marché, big local market.
Let's hit the market.
Le Marché. Okay, yeah, there's plenty of weird and wonderful things here. Lots of memorabilia, as well as food, fruits, vegetables, etc. Lots of people trying to sell you weird trinkets.
Yeah. Right. So we need supplies. We need canteens, or at the very least, some water bottles.
Yeah.
Some camping equipment, I suppose, wouldn't go amiss.
Do we need any other clothes? Do we need like hats and stuff? How prepared were we for this sort of train?
Probably do.
I'm just. Are we sure we're going that far off the beaten trail? I'm not even sure we're going off the beaten trail.
What I'll say is that you find a little sort of guidebook, which talks a bit about Laura Penny.
Okay.
Essentially, it is a bit more green down there than up in the capital, which is basically all very dry. It's not thick jungle, but yeah, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to navigate. And also, there are roads to Laura Penny, but in terms of where this ruin is exactly, that might be quite difficult to get to with a car.
Is the ruin on the map?
Yes, it is. So basically, I'm just trying to get it up here. It's off this very tiny village called Piena. So it's out into the wilderness, sort of in this big stretch of green.
Okay. Kyle, see if you can get us a machete.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe two.
Torches. Yeah, I'll look around for the market for a machete if I can find one.
Yeah, see if we can get two if possible.
Like bush or something, is it really?
Yeah. Well, you never know.
Yeah, that's fine. So it takes you a little bit of time to get a machete, but you do find one. As you're walking around, Dominic, somebody kind of comes up to you, puts his hand on your shoulder, and says, "That mask, is it for sale? I'll buy it off you. I'll give you 200 for it."
I'm going to be using it for a birthday party today, but I'll be back here in a couple of days and I'll happily sell it to you then.
Can you roll me some kind of persuade roll for that?
I swear if I can make this roll.
Mm-hmm.
Extreme success.
Okay. Don't forget to tick these off if you're getting them.
Yes. Yeah, that reminds me, firearms.
He looks at you with extreme interest and goes, "Oh, a birthday party. Converting them when they're young, eh?"
Well, what can I say? You mean converting them? What do you take me for?
Well, what else would you be using it for? And then you hear him say something in a strange language, different from the Bygone. And he does sort of a little sign across his chest.
I'm sorry, I'm not in the Masons.
No. He's worshipping Allah.
No earthly god.
No, the Allah. No, the Allah?
When he realizes what you mean, he actually gets out a knife and starts coming at you with it.
Oh, for God's sake! I pull out my gun, point it at him, and say, "Right, do you really want to bring a knife to a gunfight?"
Intimidation?
Oh, I got that wrong.
It does seem a bit of an overreaction.
Nope, not even close. It might be
Okay,
because I'm still quite weak.
Yeah, so he still lunges at Helen. So I'll say that you do kind of, with your gun, you kind of put your arm out like this, so it's kind of hooked over, so you're kind of in a bit of a struggle. Eventually, you do push him back because he is quite scrawny, and it's a small blade.
No,
Which
you
point I'm gonna
misunderstand, sir. I'm with the king in yellow.
Why would you mention the Allah then if you were
I
following
thought
him?
you were doing the sign of the Allah. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
You will pay for your blasphemy.
Yeah. At which point I'm going to quite accidentally stumble towards him. That stumble will look like a stumble to me, but will feel very much like a boot in his stomach. I'm gonna kick him one.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he goes sort of winded and collapses to the ground. He then sort of staggers back up and says, "Okay, I'm going. No sale."
Before you go, you should know something. I'm from Carcosa. I can send you there.
Please do.
I'm gonna do it because I don't. Just a minute from now. I actually don't want this guy going and getting a mob. So I'm going to try to do that thing where I sent the Brotherhood back to Carcosa. I'm going to try and repeat it with the ring.
I sort of turn around and say, could you maybe just send him to Texas?
Just
difference.
He seems to be very excited at the prospect of going there. So let's send him somewhere far away that won't be exciting for him.
I'm going to try sending him to Carcosa.
Okay. Do your power roll.
Texas might be excited.
Send him to Dallas.
Let me see. A little bit of luck here and there. Success.
Okay. So you're a little bit rusty with it to start with, but it does happen, and you actually hear him scream with delight as he heads into Carcosa.
Next time, Texas.
Does anyone deserve that?
There is absolutely no way that man's going to come back at us with a mob now.
You do, however, see a few people in, the crowds around you. They've actually started, like, violently twitching on the ground.
Oopsie.
Oh, time to move.
Yeah, I think we need to be. I think we need to be somewhere else.
Indeed. Well, it has been most of the day now, especially as it took you a little while to come out of the hospital. So as you exit the market, it is now pretty much dark. Although, interestingly, you don't remember seeing a sky like this before since heading into Burkina Faso. In particular, the capital, it's full of pollution. It's normally quite cloudy, but here you can see the Milky Way in huge detail. Um, but more than that, you can see stars that you've never seen before, nebula of different colors. I mean, whether you know what nebula are in character, I'm not sure, but you're seeing all these vibrant colors which you've never seen before in a night
Oh my
sky.
God, the sky's broken. It's happening again.
They've got lots of more stars in the sky here than they have in the States.
Well, is this another thing going wrong?
We need to move. Wherever we need to get where we're going.
And in particular, as you're sort of heading back to somewhere to stay, whether you've got a hotel or something like that, you can see a particular sort of streak, kind of like a shaft of light. Perhaps you're not quite sure, or maybe like a almost like a lightning bolt. But there's some kind of light, like a streak of light, in the distance to the south.
In the direction of the ruins.
You think quite possibly.
We need to get there now. We need that car now. They haven't prepared it for us yet.
I think we might have to go with what is.
Well, every time I try to do a teleport, something goes wrong. I don't want to do that to get us there, if I can avoid it.
Let's
teleporting there. Actually, alert whoever's already there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go the long way.
I mean,
I see. We just pick up the car in whatever state it is, and just hope to God it's in good enough nick to get us where we're going, and preferably in good enough nick to get us out of there.
All right. If the place is even open, we'll head back there.
It's not open, but it is a very simple building. It could easily be broken into.
Yep.
Have we already paid for it?
Yeah, you paid for it.
Okay, so we'll steal it. Okay.
We're merely acquiring ahead of time.
Exactly. So what I'll say is you easily sort of break down the door, you get the keys. The car, it does look mostly ready. There are a couple of tools strewn around, and there's one of those little wheel things. So you're not quite sure if there's anything left to do, or if they've done it and called it a day. So we'll have to see when you're on the road.
Can I do maybe a quick check around the car to make sure it seems to be working or not? Everything's done up.
If you wish, do you have anything like mechanical repair?
I do.
Oh, fantastic! You took the corporation lesson then.
I've never rolled mechanical repair before.
Well, there you go.
And I made it by 1 point.
Oh, lovely! Don't forget to tick it. Yeah, so you head around, you examine the car. You think really the only thing that they haven't done is just sort of spruced up the inside, giving it a clean. As far as you can tell, it's all fine.
Oh, we can live with that.
Starts eating donuts and it'll be covered with sugar anyway.
It will.
All right, let's get out of here.
Who's driving?
Well, we can take in turns. I'll do the first stint.
Works for me. Swap every couple of hours.
Yep. Now we need to decide who's driving when, so we know at what point the car's going to go into a pit or a ditch or something.
You think I do it like that?
No, it's just whenever I take, it's going to happen when I get behind the wheel. I just, because I haven't been able
Carl
to
and I
control the
will do
fucking
the
car
drive.
yet.
Carl and I will do the drive if you like, Sheriff. You are a little wounded.
I haven't been. Every time I've gotten behind a wheel and had to make some sort of maneuver, the cars went off the road through trees.
You can lie down on the back seat.
I had to
Okay.
swerve 3 times before I hit him.
Just for carrot.
Yeah.
But fortunately not right now, since you're not driving.
Yes.
So you head out of Kudogu and you start the long drive south. Excuse me. It obviously gets darker the further south you go, and also it begins to get stormier. You get sort of these bouts of rain that come through, which are making visibility, a lot poorer. However, you notice. Sorry, who's driving first? Was it Helen? No, Kyle. Kyle, yeah. As you're driving, you notice that whilst it's difficult, you can see quite well just in general.
Yeah. Don't seem to be having any trouble driving in these conditions.
Well, perhaps with, say, the wheels, with the water, but apart from that, no, you can see quite well, and actually that's helping you a lot in terms of driving in the dark. And Helen, you find the same as well. The rain eases up a little bit, but you can see in the dark quite well, like more than usual.
Those things in our blood, would they be helping our eyesight in any way?
Well, blood does go into the eyes, does it not?
If you say so, I have no idea.
No, neither have I. I was asking.
I suppose. But I don't know. That's just not all bad.
They're not those little fish with a light on the end on the end, are they?
No.
Is that why we got better eyesight? We've got a great big bulb crawling out of our heads. I'm going back to sleep.
It would be like being inside a house and looking out into the darkness of night.
The sheriff hasn't completely recovered from his recent transgressions.
I'm sure, though, I can see better at night now. Definitely.
Yeah, and all of you can. So you keep heading further south. You start having to deviate off the main roads. It gets a little bit windy as you start reaching what's called Bobo Dioulasso, which is sort of the nearest main city, if you will, to Lower Penny, but you've still got about an hour to go. Do you stop at any point, by the way, or are you just heading straight there?
Well, we'll change the drivers an hour out then.
Yeah.
Give Carl rest from driving so he arrives fresh.
Are we going to stop and pick up more fuel, or are we going to use our reserve?
No, we'll make sure we've got plenty of fuel.
Yeah. In case we.
That's what the jerry cans are for.
Yeah, we need to make sure that we've got plenty for getting out of here because we're in an isolated area now.
That's fine then. So you do the switch over and you set off again, and now you're traveling southeast. And as you start heading down onto these sort of smaller roads, getting further down, the rain starts again. But this time you can feel almost like there's something following you. And there's a definite sort of feeling of, well, not a feeling, you can just see there's a tinge of purple in your wing mirror.
Okay, I'm gonna, assuming it's me driving on the last stretch, is it? I'll pull off the road and I'll turn the lights off and pull off the road.
Are you thinking of actually parking, or are you going to still drive?
I want to park up behind some trees or something. So
Okay.
we'll pass something and I'll pull up behind it, turn the lights off, and see
Okay.
what passes us.
Yeah, that's fine. When you turn everything off, when you get out of the car, you
No,
realize this thing.
no. Just parking up.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry.
Just turn the lights off only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to
that's
see
fine.
what this purple thing following us is.
That's fine. That's fine. But essentially, this thing that's following you, it is actually quite far away, but it's huge. It looks like the sort of the starting remnants of another one of those hurricanes.
Oh, okay. No, in that case, I'll put the lights back on and drive a lot faster.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get back on the road, start driving faster. You then, after a few minutes, you hear the sound of something come through the window. You realize it's an arrow, and Dominic, you miss it, but you can see several silhouettes in the sky that look like Brotherhood that are flying over.
We're with you guys, you idiots.
I don't think they care anymore. Kyle, you and I are going to have to try and pot shot as much as possible.
Wow,
Helen, just floor this fucker.
convincing that we're on their side has always worked in the past.
It worked on them last two times with them.
Yeah, but the Brotherhood are big. Can we have initiative, please?
Oh, balls. Yes, that's not going anywhere fast.
Okay.
I failed quite spectacularly.
Yeah,
Not quite critically, but spectacularly.
that is. What about you, Phil?
I've got an extreme success.
Ooh. Very, very nice. Okay. And I appropriately... Oh, no, it's 69, not 66. Okay. Not as appropriate, but nearly. Okay, that's fine.
Sexual encounter, is it?
Okay, so...
And the tone of the Ginkaya campaign just completely changed in one line.
What can I say? I'm a kinky bastard. Okay, yep. So out of Dominic and out of Helen, are any of you using? I know, stupid question, but it's part of the initiative. Are you using guns?
I'm using a gun.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my Glock out at this point.
Yep.
I'm going to use Fast and the Furious style gear changes.
Okay. And Kyle, what were you planning to do in your turn?
I'm going to have to use my gun because they're too far away for using
Okay,
the bike.
that's all fine. So basically, everyone but Helen's using gun. Okay. So Kyle, you're up first.
Okay, so we'll lean at the window and I'll take a shot at the closest one. And that's a miss.
Okay, yeah, it's difficult even with your improved vision. The fact that they're above you and it's dark up there, well, except for like the nebulas and crazy stuff going on, it is still quite hard to see them. So yeah, they easily dodge your blow, and in fact, one of them's going to return fire, and that is a miss. So it would be Dominic up next.
Okay. So the Glock is going to get used.
So presumably you're sort of shooting out the back window, are you?
Yeah, it's that is a hard success.
Oh, lovely. Okay. So you hit the nearest one quite square in the chest. So roll your damage.
8.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't know if you've killed it, but it definitely falls out of the sky, drops its bow, kind of comes to a crumpling sound on the floor. The others don't take any heed and keep on following the car.
Good shot, sir.
Helen, you're noticing that the weather's starting to get worse. You can actually feel the car shaking slightly. You don't know if it's because it's getting a bit bumpier or because this hurricane is getting closer. But it's getting hard to control the car. You're also kind of starting to go on much windier tracks now. So can you make me a drive roll?
Uh-oh. I'll aim for the nearest tree and accelerate towards it.
That's fair.
Oh God!
Okay, so you basically you understeer too much. There's like a sound from the wheels. You must have gotten some wet leaves or something like that. But anyway, into the side of the car. Fortunately, not your side or anybody else's side, so you're all okay. But it hits the doors. You're stuck now by this tree.
Oh, fuck.
You could potentially get the car started again,
Yeah.
but
I will endeavour to be doing
Go,
that.
go, 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 go.
How many of them are up there?
well, Dominic just shot one. You think there's at least two more?
Well, maybe we can fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep on.
Yeah, quickly get it going.
But Dominic, you definitely think if it is going to start, you'll need to at least take a quick look under the bonnet and see what's up with it.
Okay, I'll have a nosy.
Oh, rather
Shooting.
try even, sorry.
Oh, I can have a look under the bonnet. What's going wrong with it?
Yeah, my bad.
My
Again.
God, don't stop for the car. Kill them.
It's up to you whether you want to hold them off first or do both at once. Is up to you.
Well, Kyle,
Okay.
you check. Kyle, you check the car. I'm gonna take another pot shot.
My gun.
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't quite hear the first.
Helen my gun so she can fire
Okay.
back. I'll fix the car.
I'll draw my own.
Okay.
But in any case, Carl's up first anyway.
Yes, and that is a hard success.
So what are you doing? Are you
Fixing the car?
You're fixing the car. Okay. Yeah. So it's really just mainly the door that's damaged. There's a little bit, and a bit of oil has come out, but apart from that, no, it's fine. So you just gotta cool it down a bit, which won't take very long. Then now that you're all shooting, doesn't matter which of you go first, but I'll say that both of you have got time before me to take a shot.
I have hit,
Mhm.
and I do 2 damage.
Okay.
And I hit with an extreme success.
Ooh. Okay.
Unfortunately, my damage was only 4, but it was extremely 4.
Yeah, sure. So what I'll say with Helen, you managed to get it just in one of the arms, but it was the right arm, the dominant arm that was holding the bow, so drops it. So you'll have to go and pick it back up. With the other one, Dominic, you think that okay, it didn't damage it that much, but you got it. You think in a vulnerable place, sort of the stomach area. So they're really kind of flinching. They're struggling to keep up off the ground. They're putting a lot of effort into stopping something like blood from coming out. So at the moment, they're sort of struggling to react. The one that has only been shot in the arm goes for the bow. Okay, but he takes his time doing it.
Okay.
So back to the front. So Carl, you've sorted out the car.
Yeah, I'll slam the lid down and I'll take a shot with the gun before I'll jump in and try and start it.
Okay.
So that's a hit.
Very good. Any particular that you try and shoot for? So do you go for the one that's sort of looking really badly wounded, or the one that's gone for the bow?
The badly wounded one, and that's a 7.
Okay, yeah. So you get this one, get another bullet in the stomach area, and it starts bleeding out quite profusely, and it sort of sinks to the floor. Okay. The one with the bow, okay, he retrieves it. The two of you do manage to get a shot in before he loads, because I'm not doing a Legolas movie thing.
I'm going to drive off
Oh.
Shit.
because Carl fixed the car, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes. As long as you're all in the car, then yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I missed.
Okay.
What's the threshold for criticals?
Well, a 1 is a critical.
No, I mean a critical fail.
Oh, critical fails 99.
It's the malfunction column on your weapon chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a point, actually. Yeah, in terms of if you're firing a gun.
It can actually be like 96 or more, depending on the weapon.
Right, I'm gonna have to spend I'm gonna spend 5 points of luck.
Okay.
Because as it's sitting at the moment, I rolled 98, which is the malfunction for the weapon. So I'm just gonna. I've still missed.
You just need to spend 1 to get it out of the malfunction range, not 5.
That's true. I'll just spend the 1 then.
Yeah, you don't have to spend 5 or 10. You can spend 1 or whatever. Okay. But as you're sort of like shooting at them, you speed off. It takes a little bit of time. There's some friction in the mud, but you do manage to get off. This hurricane is getting closer. You can feel sort of wafts of wind behind you. But you belt it down this sort of greenery terrain, trying to get. I'm assuming you're trying to get back onto a road if you can.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I'll say that you do eventually. It takes you a little bit of time.
And then head to the white light column thingy.
Yeah. So it sort of takes you a few minutes. Okay, right, it's over there. So you need to turn it around, and you speed off as you reach Lower Penny. The hurricane is almost on you. You're not sure if it's going to be safe for much longer just being in a car.
Here, if you put your mask on, we'll try to find a building to park in.
We're ready.
If I'm looking at the map, can I sort of direct Helen as close as I can to the fortress?
Well, the fortress is south of the actual town.
Oh, right. Okay. So not there yet.
You're nearly there.
I think we should take shelter in the town for the storm to pass, unless you think it's one of these Carcosa storms.
It definitely looks like the same kind of storm that we had at the plane.
Yeah,
then
it definitely looks.
Just press on because there'll be no end.
Yeah.
As we drive into town, what does the town look like? What are the buildings made of?
Ah, interesting. Essentially, they're kind of clay buildings, quite crudely put together. It is a small town, probably more than a large village, more than anything. In rural Africa.
Is it going to stand up to the storm?
You imagine probably not.
Flora, Helen, we've got to keep going.
Okay,
fine. It's easy to do. There's just a big main road all the way through the village, so you just floor it straight down. And you start heading out. There's some sort of pastures and fields and things. No livestock at all, though they're long gone at this point. But then you notice the light sort of, you can see it moving as you're driving. So you find like a small off-road path and you start heading down there until eventually you can't really go much further with the vehicle. There's no road left. So you clamber out, presumably taking your gear with you. And as the wind rages around, you stagger up this small hill and head down into this sort of flat clearing where this ruin is. Now, you mentioned about the mask. What do you intend to do with that?
Well, my thinking was that the mask and this location are tied together somehow. So depending on what's here, the sheriff might want to put it on, which is why I thought it'd be handy to have that ready.
I'm prepared to try it. At this
Okay.
point, I'm teetering on the edge of a nervous breakdown. I'm still not exactly bristling with health. The mask could kill me. But
Good.
gung ho. I'm going to put the mask on.
Okay, maybe a power roll.
Just so we know when this goes wrong, I said depending on what's here.
Can you use luck for power rolls?
I think I have allowed it because I'm nice, but technically you're not supposed to.
I only ask because I've made it, and I'm 1 point off making it a hard success.
Oh, go on then. I'll let you have it.
Right. So it's a hard success.
Okay. So you put it on. You feel a little bit kind of nervousness from the effects of what happened last time, essentially, but slowly that fades away. You start to see all around you things are changing before your eyes. Basically, for the other two of you, there is sort of a wall of sorts. Oops, excuse me. A wall of sorts around a large area that you think held the fortress. But for you, Dominic, this whole fortress starts growing out of thin air, and it goes up quite big. You think there's a lot of depth
Whoa.
to it as well, so there could easily be, chambers or catacombs underneath the ground as well. And this wall that was there, it's just simply, an outer wall for defenses.
Wow. Now that's a tall wall. You guys seeing how tall this wall is? Holy shit.
You can see there's a gate further down, like a really ornate gate made out of some strange material, like sort of a strange metal.
I think I found the way in.
All right, lead the way, Sheriff. Yes, it's a very tall wall.
It's lovely. Good strong defenses here. My
I'm
God.
just gesturing to Carl, like, just go with it.
Bear in mind the hurricane is kind of nearly on you, so
Yeah, I'm going at a pace. I'm not running or anything, but I'm not going sort of at any kind of dawdling pace.
indeed, yeah. The wind actually makes it so you have to shout because it's so deafening at the moment.
Right.
But in any case, yes, you do head in through what you think was one of the main gates, and there is a way down. There's sort of a flight of steps that heads down.
Ooh.
You definitely feel a presence of sorts coming from there.
The good news is there's a way down. There's steps going down there, but I don't think we're alone anymore.
The storm is a creature in and of itself. Let's just get in there.
Yeah, for the other two of you, there are these steps, but they're absolutely covered in leaves. They're sort of broken. There's actually been sort of boards kind of covering them up, so you have to rip them off just in order to get down there. But I'll say that's easy enough with the tools you've got. And then you head down just as the hurricane comes pelting over, and you can hear the sound of trees cracking up above you as you're heading down into the dark silence of this chamber.
Make that just in time.
Indeed. The steps go down quite a long way for a couple of minutes. There is a very strange smell, like nothing you've ever smelt before.
Is it acrid or sweet or?
It is mostly acrid, yes, but at the same time, it's kind of fresh.
Hmm. Yeah.
You've smelt it before, you think, Dominic, but you can't quite place where.
Smells like a New York alleyway.
And you can see going down, Dominic, there are these walls that are absolutely covered in glyphs of some sort, almost like the ancient Egyptians. It's in writing that you don't understand. There are some sort of more drawings than writing. They're very
sort of
clear to your eyes. For the others, it's faded, but you can
Yeah.
sort of see.
pause for a moment, just to sort of kind of take in the drawings, just in case they trigger any sort of recognition.
Well, looking at them, hard enough, you can see that there's something at least linked to Carcosa. You can see that the two lakes that have been mentioned before. You recognize that, Helen and Kyle, from the play. There were two lakes mentioned. There were the sinking suns, the dark sort of skies as well. All that stuff is described, so it is obviously Carcosa. But then there is another region, a different region. Doesn't really have this sort of description. In fact, it's quite a calm, civil place.
That looks nice.
The alarm, I guess.
Is that the place? Yeah, the place they got took over and destroyed.
Could be. Now that I've sort of stopped and had a look at these drawings and so on, I'm going to continue my way down the steps.
It is my hunch that this is some kind of temple to the alarm.
All we know right now is there's something down here and it don't smell nice.
You're pretty much leading the way with this, Dominic, because whilst the others can see in the dark quite well, you think because of this stuff running through you, you are seeing it in a much grander visage than they are. They're seeing it in the present day. You're not sure when this is where you're seeing it.
But we know how unstable he is, so we're just pretending we can see it as well.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
I've got torch in one. I've got torch in my left hand, Glock in my right.
Yep. And if you didn't have this mask, you think you'd have possibly gotten lost. There are labyrinths, snaking through under the ground, but you always seem to know. You just have this hunch. Nothing like big, like, oh, go this way, but you just seem to know every time. And this presence is getting stronger and stronger as you head further in, until you come to a chamber, a large chamber that opens up, and you see what you think sort of looks like a human facing an altar. And he turns and looks at you, and you recognize him as the one who you saw at the school.
Oh, it's you.
It is me, and I've been waiting for you.
Why?
Well, you've returned my mask.
Oh, bugger.
It is fine. You can keep it if you like, but he turns to the other two. He seems to be a little delirious from it. It is very powerful.
Remind me, are we meant to be shooting this guy or not?
As far as you know, no. He did mention he was an ally of Katie's, but apart from that, you don't really know much about him.
How's Katie?
She is at peace now with Benjamin.
How am I? No, seriously, I don't know who I am anymore.
Well, that is the concerning point. Yes, all of you are in terrible danger, as far as I am aware. I have been attempting to create a ritual so we can close this portal, this gate, for good.
There's a gate?
Well, yes. Did the Brotherhood not tell you about the gate?
They mentioned something about a gate, but I didn't want to probe them because, no, it's the Mygo cultists. And I didn't want to probe them because I honestly don't know. There's so many factions in play. And, I have to be very careful when we talk to them, don't we, guys?
Yes.
I'd
I
be
understand.
very interested to know whose side you're on.
Sit. Time goes very slowly down here. I will tell you everything.
That'll be a change.
Oh God, yeah.
He hands out some kind of, you think it's almost like water, but it's got a strange sort of taste to it.
I will drink.
So there's the Mygo cultists, there's the Allah, and there's the King in Yellow or Dark Brotherhood faction. And then there's us, and I can't even remember who kidnapped us, the other us, or what happened to the other us.
Well, originally your other selves were taken by the Mygo to be sacrificed. I believe they deemed you to be too dangerous. However, you were then agreed into service by the Brotherhood. So they are the ones who have you in Carcosa. You are currently serving them.
So we're here and there at the same time.
Indeed. And I would imagine that you would want to rescue yourselves before the gate is closed.
Yes, I guess. Can
Yes.
it be two of me?
Well, this is the thing. I do not know what happens to mere mortals when they are separated in that way, but then no mortal has ever encountered Carcosa before. With these gates are like, if you will, a door to another world.
But by the way, there might be another mortal in Carcosa.
And who is this? Who is this that you speak of?
I don't know his name. Somebody from Burkina Faso. Faso.
Well, if he has lasted this long, then he is a very lucky man.
In fairness, we nearly died there, so he wasn't prepared for what he's coming into.
Of course. These doors, there are a couple of them remaining. There was a man who was part of an expedition to a place called Antarctica. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
I've heard about it, yeah.
And he vowed to close a gate which the Brotherhood opened many years before. Unfortunately for him, they got wind that he was intending to do that. And, well, I don't know entirely what his fate was, but they took him back.
Ben's grandfather.
Oh, that's who it could be, yeah.
That may be the gate that these Mygo people spoke of. That one is quite well known, but it is tricky to reach. They do not know, however, about the second gate, the one that is right beneath your feet.
I'm afraid.
That's a very close guarded secret.
Carl's going to shuffle to the side a little bit.
Now, does it help us or hurt us that the Mygo are about to attack Carcosa?
They are too wound up in their own motives and traditions. They think they understand Carcosa, but they don't. You cannot destroy Carcosa. It is too powerful. All we can do is save the mortals of this earth from it any further.
By closing this gate?
Indeed.
will we be able to rescue ourselves? Is that
Well, if the
impossible?
gate is right under our feet, surely we can go through and rescue ourselves and then close it.
There is the dilemma of Antarctica, however. In order for everything to be shut for good, that must be closed as well.
So we have to go to. We can do this, but we still have to go to Antarctica.
Well, there is one possibility, but I don't know if you would like it.
No, I don't think I would, because I know what you're about to say.
As I said, I do have a method of closing this one. I did make it myself. I made it because I escaped. I escaped before Allah was destroyed, and I am the last of them.
So you could close this one, then we come back through the Antarctica gate and close it.
Indeed.
How do we close it? And where is it on Carcosa?
Well,
Is it to
It
do
is-
with the two lakes?
it is indeed to do with the two lakes. There is a tower on the shore of one of the lakes. I believe that is where they created this gate to Antarctica. How it is closed, though, from the inside, as it were, you'll have to find that yourself.
No. We're going to close it from the Antarctica side.
Well, yes, but as in coming from Carcosa out rather than closing it.
How do
Being
we
Antarctica.
get back from Antarctica?
Well, that is a good question. I could potentially arrange something.
Could you perhaps definitely arrange something? It would definitely soothe my nerves. That you'll be definitely arranging something.
Give me the mask for a moment.
Take it off and hand it to him.
He puts it on, no hesitation at all. And he starts saying very strange words, but you hear the sound almost of like a plane or something like that, or perhaps a helicopter, you're not quite sure. He then takes it off and says, I think I may have caused a little bit of influence to help you.
I much prefer people who use language certainly, with certainty. Sorry, I ironically messed up there.
I'm sorry. This language is not my first.
Right. May have.
I have.
Thank you. Because we won't survive in Antarctica long.
No.
Frankly, fancy my chances in Carcosa more.
That is a very brave thing for a mortal to say.
You've not seen Antarctica. I've seen it on the telly.
Even the penguins look cold.
Yes. But is that what you wish to do?
As far as I can tell, it's the only course of action. You need to close this gate. You've got to do it from this side. Therefore, we need to go through and close another gate. And if we fail, you'll have to travel to Antarctica and find a way to close it yourself. Or find some other mortals to screw up with.
Yes. I am hoping that you will succeed. But I will do whatever I can on the surface to help.
Right. Now, we didn't exactly come prepared for attacking Carcosa. We'll need water. We'll need food. And we'll need more guns.
We don't need more guns. We need bigger guns.
That's just for the little insect people that aren't even the Yellow King.
You will
Oh,
not
the
have much
insects is
time.
good. A good pair. Just make sure the window wipers are on. Not a problem.
You will not have much time in Carcosa.
We're not going to
Mortals
have
do
a
not
car
survive
this
long.
summer.
Well, Ben did.
Unless we
He
can
is a
find you.
rarity.
Right. Do we know where our other cells would likely be?
Well, it depends. It depends what the Brotherhood have asked them to do.
So the Brotherhood think we serve them at the moment.
Is there any way we can contact our other selves?
The Brotherhood think that we are servants of the Yellow King. We need to play on that. Now, what was it they wanted us to do in Burkina Faso? I can't remember.
They wanted us to come here, didn't they, actually?
They wanted you to kill me, didn't they?
Ah, right. Okay. So, you defeated us. You dispatched us through the portal. But we tried.
Ah, so you mean like staging it, almost like a play?
Yes.
That will take some convincing.
What do you mean?
I'm sure you're
The
capable.
Brotherhood are not stupid.
Trust me, they'll believe anything we tell them.
Yes, that's not our experience.
Well, do you think we need some? I mean, what would you do if we had come here to kill you? What would be your reaction?
Well, look, I'm not exactly armed.
So
I'm
you,
simply the last of my kind.
so the most simple way to deal with us would be to try to escape through the portal, but you don't want to go there, so you send us through. So how would you do that?
Well, I can open the portal easily.
Huh? Well, there we go. That's what happens.
All right then.
Well, yeah, if we stand in a certain place and we pretend there's a standoff and you can just open the portal and we're gone.
I see. Clever.
Well, I point my gun at him. Oh no, he's getting away.
Bang, bang, bang. Pew.
Ah, I see. We're doing this now. And he turns back round. He gets a couple of sort of bottles of something, shakes them up, and then throws them onto the ground. And then it starts creating almost like it sort of manipulates the stone, turns it to liquid, and there's sort of this whirlpool that starts appearing.
Oh, I guess we go into that, right?
Of course.
Are you fucking
Okay.
joking me?
You have to do it as if we were just fighting, just trying to stop him from running, okay? That's how we have to appear as we come through.
Okay.
I jump through with my gun up.
Yeah.
I'll follow.
Okay. And as you go through and you hear the sound of everything close behind you, we're ending the session. You know what's really funny? The way that you, Phil and Becky, are sitting, it looks like you're kind of leaning on each other.
Yes.
It kind of made me look like to double take for a minute. So you're getting very close. Anyway, I hope you liked that.
That was good.
Yes, that was intense.
That was very
Thank you.
good.
That was really, really good.
Good.
We're in trouble now.
Indeed. But what I will say...
Did you mean? Hold on. Just to clarify, we weren't in trouble before.
You realise, like, everything we just did in going back to Carcosa was based on the assumption that I'm actually right about the factions.
I
have no sure idea of exactly who that guy is.
He did kind of explain things to you.
I know. And I'm hoping he was honest and it did make sense to my notes, but there's a good chance I'm wrong. Because for the longest time, I was writing my notes based on there being two factions. And I was confused as
there's an awful lot of there's an awful lot of factions involved.
Well, technically it's three, but one of them has two names. The Dark Brotherhood and the Yellow King are kind of the same faction.
Hmm.
The Mygo hate them and the Yalar are them.
Right, just to clarify, the Brotherhood are a group of magical beings who worship the Yellow King.
Yeah, exactly.
But they are all part of the same kind of thing in Carcosa.
Mm.
The Brotherhood are considered his servants.
Yes. Okay, yeah. But yeah, this is my point. That's two names for the same faction in essence. And the Mygo are a different one. I can't remember what the townsfolk were.
The moral majority.
Yes. Can't
They
remember how
were
they're
members of the Mygo, or the Mygo
Ah.
cult. So there are technically only two.
Okay, well, the Alar is kind of like an extra faction-y type thing.
Yes, apart from him. But what I will say is that the your improvement scores all round.
Cool.
I don't think I've got many things ticked here on one skill. Tracking. It's going to possibly... So when you do improvement rolls... Oh, and firearms. When you do improvement rolls, you roll under, don't you?
Yes. You've got to fail.
You've got to fail.
No, you got
That's it.
to roll over.
Okay, well, my tracking will definitely fail. Yep.
Oh, that's a fail.
No.
I've only got 1.
You roll over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why it gets more difficult over time.
Yeah. So I now have tracking as a skill.
I've only leveled up 1 out of the 3. And that was shooting.
I fucking hate this game sometimes. I just want to put it out there that I had 6 skills ticked, and I just managed to succeed surprisingly brilliantly at every single one of them. The one time I needed to fucking fail the rolls.
Mm-hmm.
I succeeded. I had a score of 15 on Intimidate, and I made the roll.
Wow.
I
Always the
failed.
way.
I rolled fucking 9 on a 15% bloody score. That's it. I'll get to raise these scores eventually.
No.
After the game was finished.
No, I don't think you will now.
I'm going to raise one of these skills if it bloody kills me, which it could very well do.
Well, next session might be the last.
It could be.
Which with you does potentially mean it's 3 sessions.
No. What? Why? What? I'm confused.
Last act.
No. Last session.
Yeah?
Possibly. Like, normally my campaign sessions tend to last sort of 10, 12, except for, you know, a Clockwork Saga that lasted longer.
Well, you better get prepping then, Phil.
Yeah, what would you want to play? Sorry.
I'm pretty much ECO. To be honest, I'll play anything.
Any particular style game or setting?
Me, I'm versatile.
Sorry, what was that?
Versatile.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever you've got in mind, I'll go for it.
Okay.
I'm quite
I'm
open.
leaning a bit more towards fantasy just because I don't tend to plane a lot of it, but apart from that...
Fantasy Corporation.
No, as in fantasy.
Oh God!
Yeah,
Could you imagine
you're part of
the
the culture.
corporation? Could you imagine the corporation mindset transplanted to a high fantasy setting?
I'm working on it.
Nope.
What do you mean?
Be like
Nope.
fucking.
Phil's game?
It would be fucking. It'd be fucking Monty Python and the One Ring. I mean, it'd be.
Hmm.
You know.
That was a good game tonight, though.
Please do enjoy
dude,
it.
that was.
And I hope you enjoyed it as well, Steve. But I'm going to cut the broadcast. We will see you all. What?
Catch you later, Steve.
Didn't ask him
See you
who
later.
Casilda.
Ah, no, you didn't. All right, well, maybe you'll find it next week. See you all later.